The park was unusually quiet that afternoon, the kind of stillness that made every small sound feel important. Leaves whispered across the dirt path. A single swing creaked as it rocked in the breeze, empty, moving as if someone had just stepped away. Lily sat on a nearby bench, twisting the strap of her backpack around her fingers, watching her dog, Max, sniff lazily through the grass. At first nothing seemed strange. Then Max stopped. He lifted his head and stared straight at the empty swing. His ears tilted forward. His tail froze mid-wag. Lily frowned and followed his gaze, expecting to see another child or maybe a squirrel clinging to the chains. There was nothing there, just the swing drifting back and forth. "Max?" she whispered, tugging gently on the leash. He didn't move. Instead, a low whine slipped from his throat. His paws dug into the dirt as if the ground itself was holding him back. When Lily tried again, he leaned away from her, eyes locked on that one spot. His chest trembled. The sound he made wasn't fear exactly, it was something closer to worry. Her stomach tightened. Maybe he heard something she couldn't. Maybe he smelled something she couldn't. Still, the way he stood there, protective, stubborn, made her heart beat faster. She stepped closer to the swing, feeling suddenly small in the open space. The chains rattled softly and Max barked once, sharp and urgent like a warning. Lily's hand shook around the leash. "Max, what is it?" He didn't answer, but his body did. He pulled toward the swing, then stopped again, whining as if begging her to understand. But what the dog sensed was far from ordinary. Before we continue, remember to like, share and subscribe for more heart-touching dog stories. And tell me, where are you watching from? The park always smelled like cut grass and warm dust after school. Lily knew that smell the way she knew the sound of her front door closing or the way her mother hummed while cooking. It meant the day was slowing down. It meant sneakers untied. It meant Max's favorite part of the afternoon. They walked the same path every day. Past the crooked mailbox at the edge of the lot. Past the drinking fountain that never worked. Past the oak tree with the initials carved into its bark. Max moved ahead of her on the leash, nose low, tail loose and easy. Not excited. Not bored. Just content. Lily shifted her backpack on her shoulder and let her thoughts wander. Homework. Dinner. Whether Mom would remember to buy cereal. The swing set came into view. 2 metal frames. 3 chains each. 1 seat missing. Only 1 swing moved. Back and forth. Slow. Empty. Wind, she thought. She guided Max toward the bench near the sandbox. He sniffed the ground like he always did, tracing invisible stories in the dirt. Everything felt normal. Then Max stopped. Not the kind of stop where a dog pauses to pee. Not the kind where he gets distracted by a smell. This was different. His head lifted. His ears tilted forward. His body stiffened just enough for Lily to notice. She followed his gaze. The empty swing. It rocked once. Twice. Chains whispering softly. "Come on," she said, giving the leash a small tug. Max didn't move. His tail, usually a lazy metronome, went still. Lily felt it before she understood it. That small tightening in her chest. "Max!" She stepped closer to him. Closer to the swing. The air felt cooler near the metal frame. Shaded. Quiet. Max's nose lifted. He sniffed the air instead of the ground. A low sound slipped out of him. Not a bark. A whine. Soft. Uneasy. Lily crouched beside him and ran her fingers through the fur on his neck. "Hey, it's just the swing." Max leaned slightly away from her touch. Not scared. Alert. He shifted his paws in the dirt. Planted himself. The swing creaked again. Lily glanced around. No kids. No parents. No joggers. Just the breeze brushing through the trees and the distant hum of traffic. She stood and stepped closer to the swing set. The seat drifted toward her and away again. "See," she said. "Nothing's there." Max's chest moved faster now. His ears twitched. He let out another whine, higher this time. Her stomach fluttered. Dogs knew things. That was what Mom always said. But this was just a swing. Lily reached out and steadied the seat with her hand. Cold plastic. Warm sun. It stopped moving. Max barked once. Sharp. Not loud. Like a warning. Lily jumped. Max! He pulled on the leash. Not hard. Not frantic. Just insistent. Toward the swing. Then he stopped again and sat. Eyes fixed on the empty space above the seat. As if someone were there. Lily swallowed. Her heart thumped in her ears. She looked where he was looking. Nothing. But the way he stared made the space feel full. Like something had just left. Or was about to come back. Okay, she whispered. Okay, what do you see? Max tilted his head. Not curious. Concerned. He stood and circled the swing slowly. Nose low. Tail tucked just a little. He sniffed the ground beneath it. Paused. Sniffed again. Then sat down directly in front of the seat. Blocking it. Lily's breath came out slower than she expected. A strange warmth spread through her chest. The kind that came when Max did something loyal without being asked. She moved closer. The chains rattled softly as the wind shifted. Max leaned forward. Just enough to touch the edge of the seat with his nose. Then he pulled back and whined again. Her fingers tightened on the leash. Did someone forget their kid? She murmured. The thought sounded silly as soon as she said it. But the way Max acted. Like he was waiting. Like he didn't want something to happen. The park felt different now. Not scary. Just watchful. Lily sat on the bench and pulled Max gently beside her. He didn't resist. But he didn't relax either. His eyes never left the swing. Minutes passed. The wind shifted. A leaf scraped along the path. Max's ears flicked at every sound. Then he stood again. Slowly. Carefully. He took 3 steps toward the swing and stopped. His body leaned forward. His tail lifted slightly. Not wagging. Pointing. Max! He didn't look at her. He looked through the empty space in front of him. Like he could see something Lily couldn't. Her chest tightened. She stood and followed him. Each step felt louder than it should. The metal frame was cool under her fingers. She touched the chain. It swayed. Max barked once more. Short. Urgent. Okay, she whispered. Okay. I'm here. Her voice sounded smaller than she wanted. She crouched again. Right in front of the swing. The breeze brushed her hair across her face. She closed her eyes for a second. Listen. Wind. Birds. Distant cars. Nothing else. When she opened them, Max was staring at her. Not at the swing. At her. His eyes were dark and steady. Not scared. Not playful. Serious. Like he was asking her to understand. Her throat tightened. You don't want me to sit there, she said softly. Max's ears twitched. He stepped between her and the swing. Just enough to block her. Lily's heart beat faster. She stood slowly. Stepped back. Max relaxed just a little. His tail lowered. His breathing eased. She looked at the empty seat again. And for the first time, she felt it. Not fear. Something heavier. Like sadness in the air. Like the swing remembered something she didn't. She swallowed. We can go, she said. It's okay. Max didn't move. He stayed there. Guarding an empty place. Waiting for something Lily couldn't see. But what the dog sensed was far from ordinary. Lily tried to lead Max away from the swing. Just a few steps. Back toward the path. Back toward normal. Come on, buddy, she said gently. We're fine. Max took 1 step with her. Then stopped. His body angled back toward the swing as if pulled by an invisible thread. His front paws stayed planted. His back legs tensed. The leash went taut between them. Lily sighed and turned around. You're being weird, she whispered, not unkindly. Max's ears flicked, but his eyes stayed locked on the empty seat. The swing creaked again. A slow, hollow sound. Lily folded her arms and watched it. Wind, she told herself. Just wind. But the way Max's chest rose and fell made it hard to believe that was all. She crouched beside him again. His fur was warm under her fingers. Sunbaked. Comforting. You've seen swings before, she said. They move. Max shifted his weight. Not away. Closer. His nose lifted as if he were smelling something above the seat, not on it. Lily followed his gaze again. Empty chains. Scuffed plastic. A shadow underneath where countless shoes had kicked off dirt. Nothing else. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling that the space was occupied by something invisible. A jogger passed on the path. Shoes slapping pavement. Breathing quick and steady. Max didn't react to him at all. Didn't turn his head. Didn't wag. Just stared at the swing. That unsettled her more than the barking had. Okay, she said. 1 minute. She stepped closer and pushed the swing gently. It moved forward and back. Once. Twice. Max's body stiffened. His ears went flat for a moment. Then he let out a small sound. Not fear. Not pain. Recognition. Like he knew this motion. Lily stopped the swing again. Her fingers brushed the chain. Cold metal. The park seemed to hold its breath. You're acting like there's someone there, she murmured. Max took a step forward. He sniffed the air above the seat again. Paused. Then circled the swing slowly, keeping his body between it and Lily. Protective. Deliberate. Her stomach tightened. Did someone fall? She asked out loud, feeling silly as soon as she spoke. Max didn't answer. But he lowered his head. Pressed his nose to the dirt beneath the swing. Sniffed once. Twice. Then he sat down again. Directly in front of the seat. Blocking it. Lily stood and looked around the park. No backpacks. No forgotten jackets. No crying kids. Just the bench. The sandbox. The oak tree swaying gently. Max, we're going to be late for dinner, she said. He didn't look at her. Didn't blink. She pulled on the leash again. A little harder this time. Come on. Max resisted. Not pulling her back. Not panicking. Just refusing to leave. The leash pressed against his chest. He leaned forward instead of following her. Her heart thumped. She released the tension and let the leash slacken. Max relaxed slightly but stayed in place. A breeze lifted Lily's hair and brought the smell of cut grass and dust. Something else too. Faint. Like old flowers. She wrinkled her nose. Had someone left something here earlier? She scanned the ground again. Then she noticed the dirt. Right under the swing. It was smoother than the rest. As if it had been disturbed recently. She knelt and touched it. Cool. Packed. Max, she said quietly. What are you smelling? His ears flicked. He took one slow step closer to the swing. Then another. He nudged the seat with his nose again. Very gently. It moved. Just a little. And as it did, a sound came with it. A faint creak mixed with something else. A tiny clink. Lily leaned closer. Under the swing, half buried in the dirt, was something small and round. She brushed the soil away with her fingers. A button. Pink. Cracked down the middle. Her chest tightened for reasons she didn't understand yet. Did someone drop this? She whispered. Max whined softly. He looked at the button. Then back at the swing. Then at her. As if connecting pieces she couldn't see yet. A memory flickered in her mind. The girl she'd seen here last week. Braided hair. Yellow jacket. Feet kicking the air. She always came with her grandma. Always sat on this swing. Maybe someone lost something, Lily said. She tried to sound practical. But Max didn't relax. Didn't wag. Didn't turn away. Instead, he lay down in front of the swing. Head up. Eyes steady. Guarding. The sky shifted. A cloud slid in front of the sun. The park dimmed just a little. Lily hugged her arms around herself. Max, we can't just stay here forever. He blinked slowly. Still didn't move. She sat back on the bench and watched him. Minutes passed. Birds chirped. Leaves rustled. The swing whispered. Max stayed alert. Like he was waiting for something to happen. Or stop happening. Lily thought of how he waited by the door every day before she came home from school. How he lifted his head at the sound of her footsteps. How he knew her before she opened the door. Dogs knew. Not in words. In feelings. In patterns. In things humans missed. She stood again. This time she didn't pull the leash. She walked around the swing slowly. Studied it. The chains were rusty in places. The seat was cracked on one side. There was a faint smear of dirt along the edge. Like a shoe had brushed it. Hard. She swallowed. "Max," she said. "What happened here?" He didn't answer. But his tail thumped once. Slow. Heavy. Her chest ached. She didn't know why yet. Only that the swing didn't feel empty anymore. It felt remembered. And Max wouldn't let her forget it. She looked at the button in her hand again. Small. Pink. Broken. Something about it felt important. She slipped it into her pocket. "We'll come back," she whispered. "Okay." Max finally turned his head toward her. His eyes softened. Just a little. But he didn't move away from the swing. Not yet. Not until he was sure. Sure that whatever he sensed would not be ignored. Lily thought she understood what Max was doing. He was being stubborn. That was the easiest explanation. The kind that made sense when you didn't want to think too hard. Dogs fixated on things sometimes. Smells. Sounds. Shadows. This had to be one of those moments. "Max," she said softly, tugging the leash again. "We're going home." He rose slowly. For one hopeful second she thought he would follow. Instead, he stepped sideways, right back in front of the swing, blocking it again. Lily let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "You're not the boss of the playground," she murmured. Max's ears flicked, but his body stayed firm. The wind picked up and pushed the swing forward. It brushed lightly against his shoulder. He flinched. Not in fear. In awareness. Like the touch meant something. Lily watched his face. Dogs showed everything in their eyes. Worry. Interest. Joy. What she saw now was none of those. It was focus. Pure and quiet. "Maybe you heard a mouse," she said. Max didn't lower his head to sniff the ground. Didn't look toward the bushes. He looked at the air above the seat. That made her uneasy. She tried again to pull him back. A little firmer this time. "Come on. Now." Max resisted. His paws dug into the dirt. His chest leaned forward. The leash pressed into his fur. She felt bad immediately. Okay. I'm not mad." She loosened her grip. Max didn't relax. He stood there, trembling just enough for her to notice. Not shaking. Not panicking. Just vibrating with something unspent. Her heart slowed a little. She sat down on the bench again. If he wanted to wait, they would wait. The sun dipped lower. Shadows stretched across the sandbox. The park was almost empty now. A man walked past with headphones on. A couple crossed the far path, laughing quietly. Max didn't react to them. Didn't turn his head. Didn't blink. Lily watched the swing again. It moved. Then stopped. Moved again. Slow. Like someone pushing it gently from behind. She rubbed her arms. "Okay, this is officially weird," she whispered. Max's head lifted higher. He stepped forward. Just one step. Then another. Until his nose was inches from the seat. He sniffed. Paused. Sniffed again. Then he let out a low whine. Not loud. Not dramatic. Almost private. Her chest tightened. "Do you want me to sit there?" she asked. It sounded silly as soon as she said it. But Max shifted instantly. He moved between her and the swing again. Clear. Intentional. Her stomach dropped. "You don't," she said slowly. Max's tail flicked once. Not wagging. Confirming. She stood. Stepped closer to him. Closer to the swing. Max barked. Once. Short. Firm. She froze. Her pulse jumped. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay. I get it." She stepped back. Max relaxed just a fraction. The leash slackened. They stood there together, watching the empty seat. Minutes passed. The park grew quieter. The air cooled. The smell of grass mixed with something faintly sweet. Flowers from somewhere nearby. Lily thought of the button in her pocket. Pink. Cracked. She pulled it out and turned it in her fingers. Is this why? She asked. Max glanced at her hand, then back to the swing, then back to her. Her throat tightened. So, someone was here. Max lowered his head slightly. Not sad. Not excited. Acknowledging. Lily tried to picture it. A kid on the swing. Feet pumping. Laughing. Then something stopping. The thought made her chest hurt. She shook her head. No. You're a dog. You don't know that. But the words didn't feel true. Max didn't lie down. Didn't sit. He stayed standing. Guarding. A cloud slid over the sun. The light dimmed. The chains glowed dull silver instead of bright. Lily wrapped her arms around herself. What if you're wrong? She said. Max turned his head toward her. His eyes were calm. Not alarmed. Not urgent. Steady. As if he was saying, I'm not. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She jumped. A text from Mom. Where are you? Dinner's ready. Lily stared at the screen. Then at Max. Then at the swing. I can't just leave, she murmured. Max's ears flicked at the sound of her voice. She typed back. At the park. Coming. She didn't send it. Not yet. She stood and took a step toward the swing again. Max moved with her. Always staying between her and the seat. Like a living barrier. Maybe you think someone is hurt, she said. Max didn't move. Didn't bark. Didn't sit. He just stayed there. Protective. She knelt and touched the ground again. The dirt was still smooth beneath the swing. Packed down. As if someone had been there for a while. Her fingers brushed something else. A small scuff mark on the edge of the seat. Fresh. Like a shoe had scraped it hard. Her breath caught. What happened here? She whispered. Max let out another soft whine. The wind rustled the trees. The park seemed to listen. Lily's chest filled with something heavy and warm. Not fear. Concern. Like she was responsible for something she didn't understand yet. I think you're trying to tell me something, she said. Max's tail moved once. Slow. Yes, it seemed to say. But she still didn't know what. She stood again. Looked around. No one else was paying attention. No one else saw the swing the way Max did. No one else felt the weight of that empty space. I don't know what to do, she admitted. Max looked up at her. His mouth closed. His ears forward. Trusting her to figure it out. That was the worst part. She didn't think he was scared. She thought he was warning her. And she didn't yet know what the warning meant. Max refused to leave the swing. Not in a dramatic way. Not with barking or pulling. He simply stayed. Lily tried again. Come on, she said, guiding him toward the path. We'll come back tomorrow. Max took 2 steps. Then stopped. His body leaned backward as if the air itself were holding him in place. She sighed and turned to face him. You can't guard a swing forever. Max didn't look at her. He looked past her. Toward the empty seat. The leash went slack in her hand. She felt silly standing there, arguing with the dog about a playground. But the longer she stood, the harder it became to ignore what he was doing. He wasn't being stubborn. He was being careful. He walked forward again, slow and deliberate. Circled the swing once. Then again. Nose close to the ground. Tail low but steady. Like he was tracing the shape of something invisible. Lily watched his paws. They stopped at the same place every time. Right under the center of the seat. She stepped closer. Is it the ground? She asked. Max didn't answer. He sniffed the dirt. Paused. Then looked up at the swing again. His ears tilted back for a moment. Not fear. Sadness. Her chest tightened. Max. He moved in front of her again, blocking her from stepping closer. She stopped. He stayed there. Between her and the seat. Between her and whatever he sensed. A breeze moved through the trees. The swing shifted. Just a little. Max's head lifted instantly. He took a half step forward. Then froze. Lily swallowed. You don't want anyone there, she said quietly. Max's tail flicked once. Not wagging. Agreeing. She sat on the bench again. Watched him. Time passed in small sounds. Leaves brushing concrete. A bird calling from the oak tree. A distant siren far away. The park felt smaller now, like it had closed in around the swing. Lily pulled the pink button from her pocket again. Turned it over in her palm. Cracked. Worn. This belonged to someone, she murmured. Max glanced at it. Then back to the swing. Then back to her. Her throat tightened. So this isn't about you, she said. It's about them. Max sat. Slowly. As if the decision mattered. He stayed facing the swing. She followed his gaze again. Still nothing. But now, it didn't feel empty. It felt remembered. Her phone buzzed again. Another text from Mom. Lily? She didn't answer. Not yet. She stood and walked a slow circle around the swing set. Studied the ground. The chain. The seat. There was a faint dark mark on the dirt behind it. Barely noticeable. Like something had been dragged or pressed there. She crouched and touched it. Cool. Still slightly damp. Max, she said. Look. He walked over. Sniffed the mark. His ears lifted. Then flattened slightly. He whined. Soft. Low. Like a sound meant only for her. You smell something, she whispered. Max moved back to his spot in front of the swing and lay down. Not resting. Watching. Guarding. The sun slid lower behind the trees. Light filtered through leaves and landed in stripes across the ground. The park looked golden and sad at the same time. Lily thought about the girl from last week again. The one with the yellow jacket. She always laughed when the swing went high. Always kicked her feet at the top. Do you remember her? Lily asked. Max's ears twitched. He didn't look away from the swing. Her chest ached. What if something happened, she said. The words felt heavy as soon as they left her mouth. Max shifted closer to the swing. Protective. Persistent. Lily stood and stepped beside him. Not in front of the seat. Beside it. He didn't block her this time. She felt a strange relief. Like he was allowing her closer. She knelt and brushed dirt away with her fingers. Slow. Careful. There was a faint line pressed into the soil. Like the shape of a shoe. Small. Child-sized. Her breath caught. Someone was here for a while, she whispered. Max leaned in. Sniffed the spot again. Then lifted his head. And barked once. Not loud. Not sharp. A calling sound. Lily's heart jumped. Max, don't. He didn't bark again. He stood and walked a few steps away. Then turned back. Then walked away again. Toward the path. Then back to the swing. Back and forth. Back and forth. She understood. You want me to follow you, she said. Max stopped. Looked at her. His eyes were steady. She stood. Her legs felt stiff. Where? Max turned and walked slowly toward the far edge of the playground. Not running. Not pulling. Leading. She followed. The leash stayed loose between them. They passed the sandbox. The oak tree. The crooked mailbox. Max stopped near the bushes at the edge of the park. He sniffed the air. Then the ground. Then the air again. His tail lifted slightly. He walked back toward the swing. Stopped. Then returned to the bushes. Showing her the path. Back and forth. A pattern. Her heart thumped. You're saying they went this way. Max stood still. His tail moved once. Slow. Yes. She looked at the bushes. Dark leaves. Deep shadows. Her stomach fluttered. Maybe someone fell, she whispered. Max didn't move. Didn't bark. Didn't whine. He waited. Like he was giving her time. Lily looked back at the swing. Then at the bushes. Then at Max. She felt caught between two things. The place he guarded. And the place he pointed to. What if I'm wrong, she said softly. Max stepped closer to her leg. Leaned against it. Just a little. Comforting. She put her hand on his head. His fur was warm. Solid. Real. You're really sure about this, she murmured. Max lifted his head and looked at her. Then turned and walked toward the bushes again. Slow. Careful. inviting her to follow. Her heart beat faster. She glanced back at the swing one more time. It moved slightly in the wind. Empty. Waiting. Then she followed Max. Not because she understood, but because he wouldn't stop trying to make her. The bushes at the edge of the park were thicker than Lily remembered. Branches tangled together. Leaves layered like a wall. Max slowed as they reached them. Not cautious. Intentional. He sniffed along the base of the shrubs, moving left to right in short arcs. His tail lifted slightly. Not wagging. Focused. Lily stayed close behind him. The air felt different here. Cooler. Damp. Heavy with the smell of earth and old leaves. Max. This is just where squirrels live, she whispered. He didn't look back. He pressed his nose deeper into the shadows beneath the branches. Paused. Then he let out a soft whine. Not urgent. Not afraid. Calling. Lily leaned forward and pushed a branch aside. Something pale flashed beneath the leaves. Her breath caught. Is that? She crouched. Pulled the branch back farther. There was a small sneaker. White. With a strip of yellow near the heel. One foot still inside it. Her chest tightened. A slow ache spread through her ribs. Oh! Max stepped closer. Sniffed the shoe. Then the leaves beside it. Then the air again. His ears tilted back. Not fear. Recognition. Someone took their shoe off, Lily murmured. Or lost it. She didn't want to say that part out loud. She brushed leaves away carefully. Her fingers touched fabric. Soft. Yellow. Her throat tightened. It was a jacket. Crinkled nylon. The same bright yellow she remembered. The girl on the swing. Her stomach twisted. Max, she whispered. I think she's here. He lowered his head. Let out another low whine. Lily pulled the jacket aside gently. Not fast. Not rough. The leaves shifted. A small arm appeared. Bare. Still. Her breath stuttered. Oh no, oh no. She froze. The world narrowed to the sound of her own breathing and the distant hum of traffic. The girl lay curled on her side. Braids tangled with leaves. Face pale. Eyes closed. Not bleeding. Not moving. Lily's heart pounded. She's sleeping, Lily whispered. But she knew better. Sleeping kids didn't lie hidden in bushes. Max stepped closer and sniffed the girl's face. Slow. Gentle. He sat beside her. His body angled toward Lily, as if saying, Here. This is it. She fell, Lily said softly. From the swing. Her eyes darted back toward the playground. The distance felt longer now. The empty seat. The scuffed edge. The packed dirt. It made sense in a way that made her chest hurt. The girl must have fallen. Rolled. Crawled. Hidden. Max, she's not waking up. His tail moved once. Slow. He looked at Lily. Not panicked. Trusting her. She fumbled for her phone with shaking hands. Her fingers missed the screen twice before she unlocked it. Her voice came out thin. Mom. I need help. The words tangled together. There's a girl. In the bushes. I think she's hurt. Her mother's voice filled her ear. Sharp with worry. Where are you? The park. The swing park. I'm calling 911, her mom said. Stay with her. Lily knelt beside the girl. The jacket was thin. The air was cooling. She draped it back over the girl's shoulders. Hey, Lily whispered. Can you hear me? No response. Her chest rose. Slow. Steady. Lily exhaled. She's breathing, she told Max. He leaned forward and sniffed again. Then lay down beside the girl. Not touching her. Just close. Like a warm wall. Lily wrapped her arms around her own knees. Her heart hammered in her ears. What if we hadn't come today, she whispered. Max didn't move. He watched the girl's face. The wind rustled the leaves. The swing creaked faintly in the distance. Lily thought of the pink button. She pulled it from her pocket, turned it over, then noticed the jacket. 2 buttons missing near the collar. Her breath caught. It's hers, she said. Max's ears twitched. So you weren't staring at nothing. Her chest filled with something warm and heavy at the same time. You remembered her. She brushed hair from the girl's forehead. Cool. Not cold. She must have hit her head, Lily murmured. And crawled here. Max shifted closer. His body stayed between the girl and the open path. Protective. Sirens sounded in the distance. Faint at first. Then clearer. Lily's shoulders sagged. They're coming. Max lifted his head. Ears forward. The bushes rustled as two joggers slowed nearby. Hey, Lily called softly. Can you help? They approached and stopped short when they saw the girl. One of them knelt. Whoa, what happened? She fell from the swing, Lily said. My dog found her. Max stayed still. The sirens grew louder. Red and blue lights flashed through the trees. Paramedics pushed through the bushes carefully. They spoke in low voices. Gentle. One of them checked the girl's pulse. Another shined a small light in her eyes. She's dehydrated, one said. Probably been here a while. Lily swallowed. The girl was lifted onto a stretcher. Her braids fell across the yellow jacket. Max stood and watched. His tail moved once. Slow. Satisfied. As they carried her away, Lily felt something settle inside her. Not fear. Not relief. Understanding. That's what you saw, she whispered to Max. Not the swing. The girl who should have been on it. He leaned against her leg. Warm. Solid. Faithful. The swing creaked once in the wind. But now, it didn't feel lonely. It felt explained. The ambulance doors closed with a soft, heavy sound. Not a slam. Promise. Lily stood at the edge of the bushes and watched the red lights fade between the trees. Her legs felt weak, like they had been holding her up on borrowed strength. Max sat beside her, close enough that his fur brushed her knee. The park was quiet again. Too quiet. The swing creaked once in the breeze. Lily turned toward it. Now she understood why it felt wrong. Why it felt watched. Why Max had refused to leave. It wasn't empty, she whispered. It was waiting. Max's tail thumped once. Slow. They followed the paramedics back to the path. A police officer spoke gently into a radio. Another knelt to look at the ground beneath the swing. The packed dirt. The scuffed seat. The faint shoe mark Lily had noticed. All of it mattered now. Are you the one who found her? The officer asked. Lily nodded. My dog did, she said. He wouldn't leave the swing. Max looked up at the officer, then back at Lily. The officer crouched and held out his hand. Max sniffed it, then sat. Good dog, the officer murmured. Lily felt something warm rise in her chest. Not pride. Gratitude. A woman hurried down the path toward them. Her coat was unbuttoned. Her hair loose. Her face pale. She's my granddaughter, she said breathlessly. Is she? She's alive, the paramedic said gently. We're taking her to county. The woman covered her mouth. Tears spilled over her fingers. She slipped when I went to the bathroom, she said. I thought she ran home. Lily swallowed. She fell, Lily said softly. From the swing. The woman looked at Max. Then at Lily. Your dog found her? He wouldn't let me leave, Lily said. He kept staring at the swing. The woman knelt in front of Max. Her hands trembled as she touched his head. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you for not forgetting her. Max didn't pull away. He stayed still. Let her touch him. Let her cry. The police officer wrote things in a small notebook. Time. Place. What Lily had seen. The sun slipped lower behind the trees. Light filtered through the branches in thin gold lines. The park felt softer. As if the weight had lifted. Mom arrived in a rush. Her breath came fast. Her eyes searched Lily's face. Oh my God, she said, pulling her into a hug. Are you okay? Lily nodded against her shoulder. I think she will be. Mom knelt to hug Max too. Good boy, she whispered. You saved her. Max's ears flicked. He leaned into her hand. They walked back toward the swing together. The officer stood near it now. Tape fluttered lightly on the frame. The empty seat moved once, then stopped. "It's just a swing again," Lily said quietly. Max looked at it, then looked away. His job was done. The grandmother turned to Lily. "She used to come here every day," she said. "She loves that swing." Lily pulled the pink button from her pocket. "I found this under it." The woman took it. Her fingers shook. "It's from her jacket," she said. "She lost it last week." Lily felt something settle in her chest. The last piece fitting into place. "That's why he wouldn't move," Lily said. Max stood, walked back to the swing, sniffed the ground once, then returned to Lily's side. Like closing a chapter. The officer removed his hat. "Dogs don't forget patterns," he said. "They remember what belongs where." Lily thought of Max waiting by the door for her every afternoon, of him lifting his head before she touched the handle, of him knowing before she arrived. "They remember people," she said. The grandmother smiled through tears. "So do hearts." They left the park as the sky turned soft blue. The swing stood still behind them. For the first time since Lily arrived, it felt truly empty, not because something was missing, but because what was missing had been found. The hospital smelled like soap and quiet, not the sharp kind, the gentle kind. Like everything had been cleaned carefully and then left alone. Lily sat on a plastic chair near the wall, swinging her feet just above the floor. Max lay beside her, head on his paws. The lights hummed softly overhead. Mom stood near the nurse's desk, speaking in low tones. The grandmother sat across from Lily. Her hands were folded in her lap, still shaking a little. "They say she'll wake up soon," the woman said. "She was just very tired and scared." Lily nodded. She kept seeing the girl's face in the bushes. Pale. Still. Max lifted his head when a door down the hallway opened. A nurse stepped out. "She's awake," she said gently. "You can come see her now." The grandmother gasped and stood so fast her chair slid back. "Oh, thank you," she whispered. Lily hesitated. Max stood too. He looked up at her. Ears forward. Not excited. Ready. They followed the nurse down the hall. The floor shone like water. The room was small and bright. Machines blinked quietly near the bed. The girl lay under a thin blanket. Her braids were neat again. Her cheeks had color. Her eyes were open. The grandmother rushed to her side. "Sweetheart," she whispered. "Oh, my baby." The girl blinked slowly. Then she smiled. "Grandma," she said, her voice soft. Lily stood near the door with Max. Not sure if she belonged in the room. The girl turned her head. Her eyes moved from Lily to Max. Her face changed. She sat up a little. "Dog," she whispered. Max wagged his tail once. "Low. Careful." "He found you," Lily said. The girl looked at him, then at the ceiling. "I fell," she said. "I couldn't get up. I hid because I was scared." Her voice trembled. The grandmother held her hand. "You don't have to be scared now," she said. "You're safe." Max took a step forward. Slow. Respectful. The girl watched him closely. "Can I touch him?" she asked. Lily nodded. "He's nice." Max stood still as the girl reached out. Her fingers sank into his fur. "Warm. Real." She sighed. A long sound. Like something unknotted inside her chest. "He smells like outside," she said. Lily smiled. "He stayed with you until we found you," she said. The girl looked at Max. Then at Lily. "He remembered me," she said. Lily's throat tightened. "Yes," she said. "He did." The nurse checked the girl's bandage. "She'll need rest," she said. "But she's lucky." The grandmother brushed hair from the girl's forehead. "So lucky," she whispered. Max lay down beside the bed. Not close enough to touch. Close enough to be felt. The girl watched him. Not afraid. Comforted. The room felt softer with him there. Lily realized something then. The wound wasn't just on the girl's head. It was inside her. Fear had settled there, like a shadow. And Max had stayed with that shadow, until someone came. He didn't want the swing to be empty, Lily murmured to her mom later in the hallway. Mom knelt and hugged her. He didn't want her to be alone. The grandmother joined them, tears still in her eyes. You both saved her, she said. You listened. Lily shook her head. I didn't understand at first, she said. I thought he was just being weird. The woman smiled. Sometimes love looks like that. Max leaned against Lily's leg. Heavy, solid, safe. They left the hospital as the sky darkened outside. Streetlights blinked on. Cars moved slowly past. Lily felt tired, but lighter. The park would look different now. The swing would still move in the wind, but it would no longer carry a question, only a memory. And somewhere in a hospital bed, a girl slept. Not hidden, not hurt, just healing. The park felt smaller the next afternoon, not because it had changed, but because Lily had. The same crooked mailbox stood at the edge of the lot. The same oak tree lifted its branches into the sky. The same sandbox waited in the shade. But the swing was still. No wind pushed it. No chains whispered. Lily walked slowly beside Max. His leash hung loose between them. He didn't pull, didn't rush. He glanced at the swing once, then kept walking. They stopped near the bench, the place where everything had begun. Lily sat down and let her backpack slide off her shoulder. Max lay beside her, chin on his paws. The air smelled like warm dirt and fresh grass. Somewhere nearby a bird called out. Do you remember her? Lily asked softly. Max's ears flicked. He lifted his head and looked at the swing again. Just for a moment. Then he rested his chin back down. Lily pulled the pink button from her pocket. She had kept it. The grandmother had insisted she should. As a reminder, she had said, that some things matter because someone loved them. Lily turned it over in her fingers. Smooth. Light. It didn't look important. But it was. She's okay, Lily whispered. They said she can go home soon. Max's tail thumped once. Slow. Good. A breeze moved through the trees. The swing creaked. Lily's heart skipped. Just for a second. But Max didn't react. He didn't stiffen. Didn't stand. Didn't block it. He stayed calm. The danger was gone. The story was complete. Lily leaned back against the bench and closed her eyes. She remembered how he had stood in front of the seat. How he had refused to move. How he had looked at her. Not scared. Trusting. He saw what I couldn't, she murmured. Mom's words came back to her. Dogs know things in feelings. Not in words. Not in pictures. In patterns. The girl came here every day. Sat on the same swing. Wore the same yellow jacket. Max had noticed. Stored it somewhere quiet inside himself. And when she didn't come back, he felt the wrongness of it. Lily opened her eyes. The swing was empty again. But this time, felt right. Not forgotten. Just waiting for someone new. She imagined the girl returning one day. Braids swinging. Jacket bright in the sun. Pushing off with her feet. Laughing. The thought made her chest warm. You didn't save a swing, Lily said to Max. You saved a person. Max lifted his head and looked at her. His eyes were gentle. Not proud. Not aware of anything special. Just present. She leaned down and wrapped her arms around his neck. His fur smelled like grass and sunlight. You see things, she whispered. Things people miss. Max shifted closer. Leaned into her. The park filled slowly. A man walked his dog along the path. Two kids ran toward the sandbox. A woman pushed a stroller past the swing set. Life returned. Ordinary again. And that felt like the best kind of miracle. Lily stood and brushed dirt from her jeans. Ready? She asked. Max stood too. Tail loose. Ears easy. They walked past the swing together. This time, Max didn't look back. The breeze nudged the seat once. It moved forward, then back, then settled. Behind them, Lily felt something settle inside her too. A quiet understanding. That dogs didn't just guard houses. They guarded moments, memories, people who belonged in certain places. And when something went missing, they noticed. Not with fear, with loyalty. She squeezed the leash lightly in her hand. "Thanks for not giving up," she said. Max wagged his tail once. Soft, sure. As they reached the path, Lily glanced back one last time. The swing hung in the sunlight. Empty, peaceful, and no longer asking a question, because the answer had already been found.